Well, hello again. It's Kathy and Rosie Vesperina. We are well and truly in the heat of summer at the moment, and I am wearing all of my protective gear as I should, but it's very hot. We are off to Terrigal this morning. There is a lady that does some treatment on my back in Terrigal that I see every now and then, so we're heading to that appointment, and I just thought I would bring you along. It's about just after 7 o'clock in the morning. My appointment is at 7:40 this morning, so it'll probably take us about 20 minutes to get there. Taking the usual route that we take out via Gosford and East Gosford shops. You've seen this before. I really need to take a different route, I think, because you see this route all the time and it probably gets a little bit boring. But anyway, there is our apartment blocks that we've seen so many times up ahead on our right, with people living in it and a hotel. What is new though about those apartment blocks is that the restaurants have now opened. I think I mentioned in a couple of videos before that people had moved in, but they were still finishing off the restaurants underneath. So they are now finished and you can book to have a meal either in the restaurant underneath. I think there's a couple of restaurants, and there's also a restaurant right at the top of, I think, the tower on the left, and potentially it's a little bit Japanese influenced menu. I haven't tried any of them yet, but I most definitely will, and I'll report back maybe. So we've gone past the police station and we're heading down towards the waterfront, where I often go with my partner to have our dinner down there in summer. The traffic wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was going to be, given the time of day and given that it's a very warm day, and I thought maybe lots of people would be heading to the beach early, but we'll see how much of the car park is full when we get down to the beach. I think a bit has happened since the last video, but I'm trying to remember what it is. I have booked myself in to a couple of private lessons to learn how to ride a manual bike. I'm a little bit nervous about it, but it's one of my goals to learn to ride a manual bike. And I think I've mentioned before that I have looked at bikes like the Royal Enfield bikes, the 350s. What I didn't realise is there's actually a Royal Enfield Bullet 500 that they don't seem to make in Australia anymore, but you can still buy them, I think 2013 versions, second hand. So that is an option if I choose to get a geared bike. And the other geared bike that I had looked at was a Honda. The Honda do a 500cc bike as well. So I think it's kind of a toss-up between a 350 and a 500 of either a Royal Enfield and a Honda. Some people have said that the Hondas are more reliable than the Royal Enfields. And that's important to me, having a reliable bike, because I'm not very mechanically minded. But the other issue is that the the Hondas are more reliable, yes. The Royal Enfield just looks more appealing to me. So if I do choose to get a geared bike after I've learned how to ride one at the special place, it will be a toss-up between the two, I think. The place where I'm doing the lesson is called Heart, and it's a Honda training centre. I did a couple of lessons there when I was trying to get skilled enough to do my Ps, and really lovely people. And what's good about that place is they have their own private road / circuit that you can ride around, which is just like a normal road, but there's no other traffic on it, obviously, other than the people that are learning to ride and drive. So I'm not sure whether in these first couple of private lessons they'll take me out on that road, or we'll just stay in the enclosed sort of training area for learners. I've watched a lot of videos on how to ride a manual bike. The gear situation makes sense to me in my head because I previously drove a manual car in my younger years, and so the concept of foot off the accelerator, clutch in, change gears makes sense to me, and I understand why you have to do that. I just have to try and transfer that knowledge over onto a bike. How hard can that be? Whew. Pretty hard if you know how long it takes me to learn things and how klutzy I am. But anyway, it's one of my goals for next year, so I hope to achieve that. The other thing that I have done recently is booked to do a big hike and adventure in Nepal in October next year. I would like to be able to potentially do some riding there as well, and if I do, then obviously I will bring the camera along. So that's 2 adventures next year, one in Krabi in Thailand, where I most definitely will probably ride a bike there, and the other in Nepal, where potentially I will in Kathmandu or just out of Kathmandu, but we'll see about that. So we're heading into, that was a lot of talking, sorry, we're heading into Terrigal now. Terrigal is one of our more popular beaches on the Central Coast. It's an expensive area to live in. The houses, obviously, because they're right on the beach, are very expensive, and it's quite popular. Lots of nice restaurants in the area that I've been to quite a few times. A nice beach if the tide is in. If it's high tide, the depth of the beach is a lot shorter, obviously, but when it's low tide, there's plenty of beach space for going to play on the beach with your family. So I really like it, but it is busy, and it certainly will get busy in summer. Well, sorry, not in summer, but it certainly gets busy in those Christmas periods and even Easter periods where it's still warm, but it's a lovely beach. I think the temperature this morning at this hour was around 24 or 25 degrees, very hot, and so I've got some shorts on underneath my riding pants. I've got some, the pants are, I think the brand is Peak Moto, and they're a summer riding pant, and they do have some mesh inserts in them, so they're actually not too bad, but obviously it's still hot. And I've just got a very light singlet on underneath my cool red jacket, so when I get to where I'm going to park at Terrigal, I will be able to just take those pants off because I've got shorts underneath and the jacket off, and I put my thongs or flip-flops if you live in a different country. In Australia, I'm talking about the thongs that go on your feet. Put the thongs on, and then I'll put my jacket and my riding pants in the bag on the back, along with my riding boots and socks, and just pop my thongs, and I'll have t-shirt and shorts, so I will look like I'm ready for the beach, even though I've just got off Rosie. What I found was there are so many people riding around at the you can see the beach, sorry, sidetracked, so you can see the beach on the left. There are so many people riding around at the moment with just shorts and t-shirts and thongs and no gloves, but they do have a helmet. So helmets are the only thing that are compulsory in New South Wales, Australia at the moment. There are some laws coming in that will change that for learners and Ps, but for the moment, that's all they have to wear. So I'm unlikely to ever go that light on the clothes in Australia because I'm nervous about injuring myself. So here we are, we're snuck into the car park, and there's this great little parking area here, and we've arrived at Terrigal. So thank you for watching.